So, how about the Nintendo Direct yesterday? That was kind of ridiculous, and I am thrilled. So, I wanted to just kind of sit down, talk about my reactions, recap everything that we saw, and talk about my most excited about announcements, because there's a lot. Also, it's really early in the morning. I was gonna record this video last night directly after the Direct, so my voice definitely sounds a little bit low in comparison to normal, but I had to talk about it. It couldn't wait. It had to be done right now. I woke up this morning, and I think like a lot of other people thought that maybe the Direct was a dream because there were so many like just ridiculous announcements, and because Twitter was down, nobody could spoil anything, so it was like, what is this? What does any of this mean? Hi everybody, my name is Alex, or Quality, and welcome back to the channel. Hooray! However, before getting into this video, I really recommend checking out the video I posted yesterday, which was full of my Nintendo Direct predictions, why I thought some things would make it into the Direct, why some other things might not, as well as my completely out there hopes and dreams. So go watch that first and then come back. But if you already watched it, then let's get on with it. We're gonna go in the order of everything that was announced in the Direct. I'll spend more time on the things that I was more excited about. Some things I'll mention but kind of gloss over, because there were a few, especially at the very beginning of the Direct, where I was just kind of like, I don't really care. I'm also gonna throw in some reactions from my live stream yesterday. When I live reacted to the Direct, it was really funny. There were a lot of really good moments, particularly because a lot of the people in chat had already watched the Direct and were mainly just waiting for my reactions to certain announcements, so it was fun. So you'll see a few clips from that as well. So literally first up, which was one of my guesses, was Pikmin 4. I kind of wondered if Pikmin 4 was going to be the opening game, because it does make sense. Now watching the Direct, it makes a lot of sense that Pikmin 4 was the very first game shown. I was surprised we got so much information, but honestly, I'm really happy. And so the release date is a little bit later than I thought it was going to be. It's July 21st. I said March or May. I don't remember what one I saw on Twitter that people were like, oh, it's coming out in the spring. But honestly, I think July is a great time. It gives plenty of time post Tears of the Kingdom for another kind of bigger Nintendo title. And I think Pikmin is a good summer game, honestly. Like spring, summer, flowers, cute little Pikmin pals. I love it. I think the timing makes a lot of sense. But so from what we've seen in the trailer, we have our new protagonist, we have new Pikmin, we have the Ice Pikmin, as well as the most important character, the dog. I freaked out when the dog showed up. It's just, I can't help it. I enjoy cute things. Is that so wrong? And it seems like it's gonna be really interesting. You kind of get transported to someone's backyard and you're investigating there and like going through all the different areas. It looks really cool. And then at the very end, we had the Bulborb ominously go all Blood Moon Zelda-esque style with red glowing eyes, and I kind of freaked out a little bit. I was like, oh my gosh. It's such a silly little thing that I was just dying of laughter, and I was like, that is hilarious, but also what does it mean? So Pikmin 4 is one of my most anticipated games of the year, so it was great to see it literally right off the bat. No questions, it's coming out. And directly next to that was one of my most anticipated announcements, one that was both, I think we're gonna get it, but also the other half, which I was more of a hope and dream, and that is the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Expansion Pass, Waves 3 and 4. So Wave 3 introduces a new hero that you can play with, as well as the Arc Sage's Gauntlet, almost like a roguelike kind of challenge where you can take all of your different characters and then gain heroes and keep playing as them and keep going on until you die. It sounds kind of cool. I don't know if I'll really check it out. I might play like a little bit of it just because I love the characters, so I might as well, and just, you know, just see how it goes. But what really got me is the Wave 4 announcement, which is the story DLC. And so they've talked that the story DLC for Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is going to be kind of the same amount of content as Torna, which, if you don't know about Torna the Golden Country, that was the DLC for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which literally got a physical release because the game was so big. So I don't know if we'll see a physical release for Wave 4. I doubt it, given that, here's the best news of all, it's out next week! I didn't even register that when the announcement went by. I was paying attention to the story, which it looks like it's going to be a prequel to the events of Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I'm not going to talk too much about my thoughts on that because I'm going to save that for my Xenoblade Chronicles 3 review coming out next week, probably right before the DLC drops. But so I kind of just glossed over the date. I saw a number, I saw a month, and I was like, it's a few months away. Like, we're getting it like in a month from now. Apparently I forgot it was February, so we're getting it next week, and I am so excited. So I need to hurry up and finish Fire Emblem Engage, so I can get back to Xenoblade like ASAP. So here we go. But so far for announcements, I'm 2 for 2 in my predictions, which feels honestly really great. And then so our next game, which I kind of forgot was a thing, was Samba de Amigo Party Central, which looks really cool. It looks like a very fun party rhythm game. I might try it out. I love rhythm games, but sometimes it really, like, they're hit or miss for me. And I also way prefer playing rhythm games in like an arcade setting rather than like in my living room. But this one looks really fun, especially because, you know, you're gonna be doing it with friends. So I might give this one a try. We'll see. And then this next one is another one that I was kind of like, I don't really care, is Fashion Dreamer. A lot of people are really excited for this though, and I have a feeling the cozy gaming community went wild with this announcement, because it seems very in line with like what a lot of cozy gamers really like, which is great. That's really great. It reminds me of the Imagine fashion designer games that were on the DS, and I think a lot of people have nostalgia for those games. I don't. I had them, but I really didn't like them. It just wasn't my style. So I kind of played them for a little bit as a kid and then moved on with my life and played Zelda. So I was like, but I'm really happy for the people that are excited for this. There were a few inklings of like some fashion game getting released. So there you go, congratulations. And then after that, we had the Dead Cells DLC for Castlevania. It looks really cool. I've never played Dead Cells. It looks awesome. I love the artwork. I don't really know much about Dead Cells. Might give it a try someday. I do love Castlevania though, so I don't know. I might give it a try, but I was just kind of like, we knew about this at the Game Awards, so I was like, whatever. Cool that they're showing it off in the direct, but nah. And then the next one, which is another very meh thing, is Tron Identity. It looks like kind of a text adventure puzzle game kind of deal, and I love puzzles. Tron's fine, I guess. I guess I like Tron. I don't know. Again, I mentioned it before, the very first half of the direct, you have 2 really solid announcements and then quite a handful of announcements that are kind of just like, you're either gonna like them or you're not gonna like them, you know? They're very like to a very specific audience. Okay, but this next one, while a niche game, got me really excited. Ghost Trick. So I've never played Ghost Trick, but I know many people that they just have such fond memories of Ghost Trick on the DS. I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh. Specifically, my boyfriend really loves Ghost Trick. He's played it in front of me before and I was like, cool. Like, it seems like the kind of DS game that I would actually really like. I never even knew about it until a few years ago. So the fact that it's kind of getting new life on the Switch, very cool. I'm definitely gonna play it. I really actually don't know a ton about the game other than moving in between objects to make things happen in the world around you. I don't know, it seems really interesting, so I'm excited to give it a shot. And now this is a new title that looks honestly really kind of cool, Deca Police. It's giving me very Astral Chain vibes, but also reminds me of Raincoat, which maybe we'll see later, who knows. It seems like kind of a post-apocalyptic puzzle, mystery RPG kind of deal. I really like the art. I think the style is really cool, and it just seems like a really interesting premise. It just seems like one of those games that I think could either do really well, or it's gonna be more of like a very niche title, but I'm interested to give it a shot. It seems really cool. And so another game we saw at the Game Awards, Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon. It looks really cute. I've never played any of the Bayonetta games though, so I don't really think I'll be picking this up unless I end up playing through the original trilogy beforehand. I don't know. I think I would like Bayonetta, but there's just been so much surrounding Bayonetta like over the past few months since 3 came out. So I'm just kind of like, maybe someday, but it's not really at the top of my I need to play this now list. But the art of this game looks really cool. It looks like a cool spin-off from how Bayonetta works. it seems cool, and I think it's something that Bayonetta fans are really gonna enjoy. Okay, so this is one that I'm a little disappointed that I didn't put in my prediction video, the Splatoon 3 DLC pass. I was thinking about it and I literally just didn't write it down, but this was good to see. I kind of figured after I recorded the video that, you know, we'll probably see some Splatoon. There's a Splatfest coming up this weekend, I think, so it makes sense that they would push some kind of DLC, probably just to be like, hey, go do the Splatfest. Also, here's this. So for the first wave, we're getting Inkopolis, which seems like just an extra little hub world that you can travel to. Looks really cool. Awesome to see Inkopolis and the Squid Sisters back, but I don't know if it really is gonna add much to the game or if it's just more of a like cosmetic hub world upgrade. So I don't know. And then there's wave 2, which is called Side Order and seemed like a fever dream. I'm interested. I'm really interested. I'm wondering if it's gonna be a solo player story mode or what, because they presented it in a very obscure way that I don't know if anybody knows what this is. I really don't know. So for Inkopolis, we'll be getting that this spring. For Side Order, we don't know when we're getting it. It is literally a complete mystery. So I'm kind of motivated to pick up Splatoon 3 again. I think I will wait for DLC until Side Order until we know more about that. Next is Disney Illusion Island. It's another one I don't really care about. I really like the new Mickey Mouse cartoon. I think the art is really fun, and from the clips I've seen, it's actually pretty funny. So I think Disney fans will like this. People of the show, like fans of the show, will like this, but again, it's not something that I'm gonna pick up. And then another win for me with the Fire Emblem Engage expansion pack. I kind of knew it that they were just gonna be like, here you go, the game's out. So they announced the remainder of the DLC, basically. We get Wave 1, which has more heroes, Wave 3, which has more heroes, and Wave 4, which has a new paralog story, which is gonna be interesting. I think I'm going to hold off on the Fire Emblem Engage DLC. As much as I'm enjoying the game, I just don't feel the motivation to get the DLC for Engage like I did for Three Houses. I felt the incentive for Three Houses, weirdly enough, the ability to pet cats and get more outfits was a little bit more up my alley, and then also the Ashen Wolves was more up my alley than the Engage DLC. I might end up getting it eventually, especially once the paralog comes out, but for now I'm kind of holding off, I think. And so this was another new game. I had never heard about it. It looks really interesting. Harmony, The Fall of Reverie. I think it's kind of a text adventure thing where a lot of your choices determine the paths you're going on and like your moral obligations to certain people. It seems really cool. The art was awesome. I'll be honest, at this point in time, I was getting a little bit panicky because I was like, okay, we've only really seen like a few things that I'm super interested in. Like where's everything else? Where's everything else? So I was kind of a little checked out here, but it's something I'd like to learn more about. It seems like something that I could be really into. The little bit I was paying attention to, I was like, this is cool. And so I think it was at this point in the direct where things started to get a little bit more interesting. We love Katamari Reroll. I've never played any of the Katamari games. I've always wanted the first one, especially since the remake came out on the Switch. I've been really wanting to pick up a physical copy of that for a while. But regardless, it's great to have more Katamari on the Switch. I think it's a series that lends itself really well to the console, and also, we do love Katamari. It's true. It's true. And this was another one that I didn't predict, but I'm really, really happy we saw Sea of Stars and the announcement of a demo. Awesome. Again, another one of my most anticipated games of the year. It just looks so good. And we finally got a release date for it, August 29th, which is really exciting. So another summertime release. Again, I think perfect time of the year for that. So I'm really excited for it. The game just looks gorgeous. I can't say any more about it than I did in my most anticipated games. I am just so excited to give it a shot. I'm trying to stay away from as many story details as possible because it looks like one of those games that I just want to experience, you know what I mean? So I'm excited that we finally have a release date. And then next we have Omega Strikers, which again, it's not really a game for me. Soccer's cool. I like soccer, but it's just not a game for me. Next we have Etrian Odyssey Origins, which contains the first, second, and third games. I never had the chance to play any of these games before. I always wanted whatever one was on the DS. I can't remember what one it was. Maybe there were multiple. I don't know. But it's a dungeon crawling game. It seems really cool. I've always wanted to give it a shot. So honestly, this might be a pickup for me. Maybe not a right away pickup, but definitely something that I want to give a shot. Another prediction right by me. Advance Wars. However, I was very wrong about the date. I figured that we would get it within a month because I thought that the game was almost done. At the very beginning of the announcement, they were like, it's only a few months away. And I was like, how many months are we talking? And it's coming out April 21st, so not that long. It's about, 2-ish months away, but that's still pretty great. I'm so happy I was right about this announcement, and I think everybody else was really happy about this one too. It's been so long. I'm ready for Advance Wars. I am ready to have it, I'm ready to get it, and I'm ready to play it. So this was a big win. I think this was a big win of the Direct, is we finally got some info, and it's coming out. And it wasn't a shadow drop. I know some people really wanted it to be a shadow drop, but I really think that would have done the game dirty if it was a shadow drop. So I'm glad we have time to let it breathe and we know it's coming for sure. So yay, Advance Wars, we're on our way. So the next one I will take as a correct prediction because I was right. We were gonna get a new Kirby trailer before the game releases in 2 weeks. However, I wasn't expecting an extra story added to it with Magolor. It seems really interesting. You're playing as Magolor. He looks so sad. Oh my gosh, looks so sad throughout adventuring without all of his powers, and it's just, but so of course, great to see Kirby, great to have that little surprise. I think a lot of people will really be happy about it. And this next one was a big one, which this was one that I was kind of afraid to predict, which is why I left it out. Any console additions to NSO. And this one took me by surprise. So at the very beginning of stream, somebody asked me about this, if they thought that we were gonna get any new consoles on NSO. And I said, a lot of people have been talking about the Game Boy Advance, which I think is great. However, I kind of figured they weren't gonna skip over to the GBA because why would you just skip over the Game Boy and Game Boy Color library? So I figured if anything, we're gonna get Game Boy first and then GBA. And I was right. I was exactly right. When I saw the little Game Boy pop up on screen, I was like, what did I tell you? But that's not all. After the original Game Boy announcement, we got the GBA games too. This was a wonderful, wonderful surprise. I will say I was a little salty because I had literally just finished playing Minish Cap by specific means on stream, and it was kind of a nightmare because of how many issues I had with it throughout the entirety of playing it. So the fact that it's on Switch would have made my life way easier, but you know what? I'm happy for everybody else. But no, I think the lineup between the Game Boy games and the GBA games, fantastic. I think it's one of my favorite at launch lineups. And just think of all of the games we're gonna get for both of those systems. Like, you have to remember, like, the GBA, that is my childhood. I love the Game Boy Advance, and it's a very, very nostalgic console for me. And finally being able to get some of those games that I might have missed out on or haven't been able to play on like a console in a long time, I'm really, really excited. And it looks like the games coming for both are gonna be really, really, really good. So Game Boy is going to be just a part of the normal NSO package. The Game Boy Advance games are going to be a part of the expansion pass, which makes a lot of sense. I'm just glad they didn't lock both of them behind the expansion pass. And so this was one that I didn't think we would see. I talked about Metroid Prime 4 and how I was very hesitant on Metroid Prime 4. And I was right on that. I was right to be hesitant about Metroid Prime 4. However, I had started to not believe this was a thing, but the Metroid Prime remaster was so, I'm not even a Metroid Prime fan. I mentioned that in the predictions video, but I almost got chills because I was so surprised. I was so surprised to see it. It'd been rumored for so long. First it was the Metroid Prime trilogy, and then they were like, no, it's only the first game, and it just never showed up. It never showed up, so I wasn't expecting it. And we finally got it. But so here's the other reason why I think this is a good sign. I think it's a great sign that we're getting Metroid Prime remastered. It's already out. I shouldn't even say we're getting it. It's already out. It came out after the Direct. And a physical copy is coming, I think, next week. But the reason I think this is a great thing, I think this is telling us that Metroid Prime 4 is on its way. Whether or not it'll be this year, or if it'll be on a future console, I don't know about that. I really don't know about that. Regardless, I think we can take this as a sign that Metroid Prime 4 is coming at some point in time. I think it's almost like here, have this for a little bit, kind of like how Skyward Sword HD was before Tears of the Kingdom. So I'm taking it like that. Regardless, really exciting for Metroid Prime fans. It's gonna be good. I think I might even give it a shot, honestly. Like, I think it's finally time. I missed out on it on the GameCube. I think it's time. I think it's time. And so this was another one that I really should have seen coming. The Master Detective Archives Rain Code, one of my other most anticipated games of the year. I'm super excited. The only thing I wanted out of this trailer was a release date, but we also got to see a few other features of the game as well, which was really cool. But it's coming out June 30th, which is a little bit earlier than I expected, honestly, and I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I feel like this summer we've already got a really good lineup of games coming out, so I'm pretty pumped for this one. Again, I'm just ready to get to that Danganronpa-esque art style, music, all of that. I love that it's the same people making it, and it seems like a really interesting premise. And just, it seems like a lot of fun. It just seems like a lot of fun to investigate and battle and all that stuff. So I'm pumped. I'm really pumped for this one. And this was one on my hopes and dreams. This, aside from the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Wave 4 DLC, this was the only one on my hopes and dreams that I got right. And it's the Baten Kaitos 1 and 2 remaster. And honestly, I kind of jumped a little bit for this one. I was so happy. Soon.
Wings of the heart take flight once more.
Yeah! I was right! Yeah! Oh my god! I was so excited for this one. Because again, kind of like how I explained in my prediction video, I have just never played these games. I've always been really interested in them, and honestly, hearing Valedictory Elegy, I was like, I'm in, I'm ready. And so that'll be available sometime this summer. So this next one was one that I had heard inklings of, Fantasy Life, but not a remake. A lot of people were asking for a Fantasy Life remake, a new Fantasy Life game. So Fantasy Life was on the 3DS. It was a game I never ended up picking up. I kind of want to see if I can snag a copy of it before the eShop goes down, but this looks like such a fun little game. The original Fantasy Life, I think, was kind of one of those, like, anybody that played it really liked it kind of deals. So I'm really happy that we're getting a sequel. But yeah, I want to see if I can play the first one first. I don't know if it's necessary to play the first one first, or if this is more like a spiritual successor kind of deal. I don't know. Fantasy Life, I think, is another game that a lot of the cozy gaming community is really gonna like, because it combines a lot of life sim elements while also being an RPG and just doing all that kind of stuff. So I think this one, especially now that it's on the Switch, is really gonna be a big deal when it's all said and done. So really excited for Fantasy Life, The Girl Who Steals Time, coming out sometime in 2023. Okay, it's time to get serious for a second. So this next game is a game that I would have put on my hopes and dreams list, but my heart was already broken, and I never ever thought that we were going to get another game in this series ever again. This series means more to me than I could ever possibly say, and that is Professor Layton. I grew up on those games. They mean a lot to me for a very specific reason, which maybe I'll make a retrospective on the Professor Layton series, maybe at some point in time where I'll get into the reason, but it is a series that means the absolute world. And I never thought we were gonna see it with all of the weird level 5 things going on. I thought they were just dead. I thought they were dead. I was like, we're never getting another one. After the Billionaires Conspiracy didn't really go over super well, I thought that was done. I thought it was done and they were going to stick to the mobile game and stuff like that. But we're getting a new Professor Layton game, and here's my reaction to that. Okay. No! So we don't know almost anything about it other than that it's coming out at some point in time. Professor Layton and the New World of Steam. So after going on Level 5's Twitter account, not only is it going to be featuring Professor Layton, but also Luke, his original companion, which I'm so excited. I really think this is a return to form. And like Millionaire's Conspiracy was fine. It was fine. I enjoyed it, but it didn't have the same heart that the first games did. And I think we're returning to form with it, and I'm so excited. Literally, I watched that little 10-second teaser about 20 times last night and just sobbed. So I think this edges out the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 DLC just slightly, just because this was a complete and utter shock. This was the one announcement that everybody in my Twitch chat was just like, it's coming, something big is coming, you're really gonna like it, and it was this. I didn't think that, I had no thoughts that Professor Layton was going to be here, and I'm so glad it was. And another correct answer for me, the Mario Kart 8 DLC Booster Course Pass, but with a twist, we're getting Birdo? This was another moment because I was still freaking out over Professor Layton that I was like, I wasn't really paying attention. I also had to literally raid and run at the end of the stream because I was edging this close to being late for a community band rehearsal, so I had to go. So I didn't even see what courses were in this. I really have no idea. All I know is Wave 4 is coming out sometime this spring, which I was also right about. I figured it was gonna come out sometime around when the first one came out, but Birdo, they said that we weren't getting any new characters. So I'm really happy to have Birdo back from Double Dash. And it's just, it makes it interesting to see what the rest of the courses are going to look like if they added a character now, if we're going to get even more characters in the future. So, and then I'll be honest, I am going to skip past kind of the like really fast reel. There are a lot of good games that we already kind of know about. Tales of Symphonia was in there, which I kind of said, I was like, I don't think Tales of Symphonia will get like a huge trailer, but nice to see it mentioned given that it's coming out next week. We have a few other games. We have Minecraft Legends, we have Blanc, we have a few other games. Lots of good things. I just recommend checking that part out. I'm not gonna cover all the games in there just because there wasn't anything super like, yeah, we're getting it, but it's still cool. It's still always nice when they do that, just be like, hey, don't forget about this. So, and then the final announcement of the day, so fun fact, I put all of my predictions on these little sticky notes when I made that video, and somebody said that I should have done direct bingo, which was correct, I absolutely should have. However, if we were going off of what was on the sticky note, this is what completed one full sticky note of predictions for me, and then I had about half of one other and then one on another note. So I did pretty darn good. But of course, the final announcement was Tears of the Kingdom. I expected that this was going to be the one more thing. They didn't even do the one more thing. They were just like, this is our last announcement, which I was like, whoa. Which honestly, I'm glad they did that. I'm glad they did that because then I was able to watch this and not panic for what might come next. So we still don't have a lot of information. And I think people are feeling that. I'm really happy we got a trailer. I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions. Who's the voice? Is it Ganon? What happened to Link's arms still? Is he in the future? Why does he have a car? There's a lot of questions. And I don't know when we're gonna get those questions answered. I really think they are purposely giving us as little of information as possible. We saw a few new abilities. We saw new enemies. We saw a few things that I'm sure a lot of Zelda YouTubers are gonna analyze and I'm gonna have to go watch later, which I'm very excited for. I love Zelda analysis videos. There's a lot going on there, and yet it didn't feel like enough. It didn't feel like enough. I think a lot of people were expecting that the Zelda trailer was gonna be top of the direct list, and I don't know if I can say that. A lot of people's highlight was the Metroid Prime remake, which is great, but it's like, for the final announcement, it just didn't feel like we got a lot. It just didn't feel like we got a lot. Now, did I still get chills? 100%, 100%. We also found out what kind of goodies are going to be releasing alongside just the base game. We got a collector's edition, which I think had a steelbook, art book, all of the normal collector's edition kind of stuff. And then we also got a new Link amiibo, which honestly looks kind of cool. I stopped amiibo collecting a long time ago because it got a little bit addicting, so I had to stop. But I really like that one. I might end up picking that one up. I loved all the Breath of the Wild ones, so I wonder if we're gonna get any more Tears of the Kingdom ones as well of any side characters. But so that's the big question. Are we in the future? Like, I really think we might be in the future, just given on some of like what we saw in the trailer. I don't know, I just don't know. But I'm wondering how people are feeling about not getting a special edition OLED. A lot of people were really banking on it, especially after that leak, which just always seemed really sketchy to me. I kind of never really believed it. I also didn't like how it looked. I thought it was kind of ugly, to be honest. So I'm really wondering how people are feeling about that. I didn't really expect an OLED model to come out for it. It doesn't seem like it's something they would do for Zelda. If anything, I think they would do Joy-Cons like how they did for Skyward Sword. I don't know, even the Skyward Sword Joy-Cons didn't really have much to do with Skyward Sword itself. Like it did, but it didn't. I don't know. I not surprised we didn't get a special edition OLED. The special edition looks cool. I know a lot of people that are picking that up. I might also pick that up. I don't know. We'll see. That was 40 minutes of the Direct, and oh my gosh, we had so many different announcements. And while I don't know if it was one of my favorite directs of all time, I feel like it was the most evenly paced direct. I feel like there was a little bit of something for everybody. It wasn't just a bunch of farming sims. It wasn't a bunch of JRPGs, which, as much as I love those, JRPGs aren't for everything. I think this was one of the best directs we've had in a really long time. I really do think there was something for everybody in it. So I'm pretty happy. My wallet's going to be hurting significantly more than I thought this year already, but so it goes. But anyways, that's gonna be it from me today. Let me know in the comments below what was your favorite announcement. What was something you were disappointed you didn't see? What was something you were completely surprised by? Tell me your thoughts about the Direct. And again, maybe go check out the prediction video. If you didn't watch it at the very beginning, now you can laugh at me for some of the other things that I said in the prediction video about things we didn't see. Or go check out the video that I posted at the very beginning of this week, which was all about some cute Nintendo Switch accessories. The Xenoblade Chronicles 3 review will be out hopefully before the DLC drops next Wednesday. That's my hope. Fingers crossed, that's my hope. Anyways, everybody, I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye!